Welcome to the odds.com breakdown of UFC 250 Las Vegas, Saturday, June 6th at the Apex. We brought our best MMA analysts to break down these fights, find angles. They're all coming off big wins last Saturday night, and they're back for more. We got Big Mo from Mo Scream TV. We got my man Clint from the Die Hard MMA Podcast. We got Boston Nick, a.k.a. Mr. Fat Fist. The team is together. It is time to break down the main card. It's main card time. 5 fights on this main card, and we're going to get it started with this bantamweight bout. 5'7" American Eddie Wineland, 24-13-1. Opens up as a plus 300 dog at Bet365. Quickly becomes a plus 380 dog. Money coming in on 5'11" American Sugar Sean O'Malley. 11-0-0. Nary a loss on that record. Opens up at minus 400. Now at minus 500. Clint, what do you do with this giant favorite to start off the main card?
Jimmy, I don't know if the viewers watching this main card breakdown took a look at our early video of the preliminary card. We spent a whole lot of time talking about a young, exciting prospect that the UFC is really trying to get behind and push and lead on the right direction. They're doing it again, man. Sean O'Malley is the future of the UFC. He's super likable. He's really outgoing. He's got all the skill set you're going to need. He's physically gifted, technical striker, incredible jiu-jitsu, just getting better on the ground to catch up with his striking game. This kid improves leaps and bounds every single time we see him step into the cage, and the UFC knows he's fun. The UFC knows the fans love him, so they're giving him a good fight. If there was ever a time to use the L word, Jimmy, this is your lock of the night. Sean O'Malley is going to come out here and absolutely demolish Eddie Wineland. Now, Wineland has some sick skills himself. I don't want to discredit the man, but he's going to be at a severe disadvantage basically everywhere when you talk about Sugar Sean O'Malley. Wineland has a 69-inch reach. O'Malley has a 72-inch reach. Wineland is 35 years old, and Sugar Sean is 25 years old. There's a 10-year age gap. Wineland is 5'7", and Sean is 5'11", Jimmy. There is not a single statistic where Wineland has an advantage here. I think this is a showcase fight. The UFC wants Sean O'Malley to win this thing, and I think he's going to come out here and just roll straight through the man, and that's why he is anchoring my crazy-ass 4-leg parlay. If you parlay all the favorites that I gave you together, you're going to get a payout of about plus 282. Low risk, medium reward. Tie a couple of those faves together. I like taking the shot. Let's go.
Those faves are Herbert the Blaze Burns, Alonso Menefield, Charles Kidd Dynamite, and Sugar Sean O'Malley. Nick, do you agree with Clint's take here on Sugar Sean?
All right, so as we all know, Eddie Wineland, if you look at the competition that both these guys have faced in the UFC, yes, Eddie's getting older and whatnot. It's not even in the same playing field. I mean, right now you got O'Malley, who has beaten Nunes in his last fight. I'll give him that. But before that, I mean, he did do a little submission grappling with Hector Lombard. I don't know if you knew about that during his steroid suspension, and got submitted in about 30 seconds. And then before that, he beat Takanori Gomi, who was 41 years old, and then Andre Sukuntoth, who should have beat him if he did the right thing and stand up in the third round after he after he hurt O'Malley with leg kicks and hurt his ankle. And then before that, he beat Terrion Ware. I mean, come on. Who the guy has faced and who's Eddie's faced, he should not be a minus 500. I don't think you should be anchoring anybody's parlay. No offense, Clint. Okay. I do like the value at Eddie Wineland at almost plus 400 odds. You know what I mean? It's worth the tiniest sprinkle. The tiniest
There's all
sprinkle.
this shit going wrong.
This is
Cloud your brain right now, bro.
This is eat a popcorn, drink a beer, watch the fight, or you don't bet on him unless he's, I guess, anchoring a parlay. But, I mean, if minus 500, basically, what are you really going to get with him putting him in a parlay? That's all I'm saying. The odds I think are wrong. That's all.
So do you think you're going to get to the window with a little sprinkle there, Nick?
wait Friday night. Come to the show. I have to watch these weigh-ins. I want to see what these guys look like against each other. I want to see how Eddie's mind, is, and also how the weigh-ins go, which is huge. You know what I mean? Remember, this is O'Malley's first fight back off steroids. So
Second fight back.
Man, look at my.
I think he still had those picos in him. Actually,
nothing.
he still had those picos in him, just like John.
Hey, my dude ate some horse meat on accident or something. He ain't taking
not an accident. But yes, there's no value on O'Malley is what I'm trying to get at.
Big Mo, Eddie Wineland here. Big dog. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the business of picking winners. I like to pick winners, not what ifs. And if you
I'm picking O'Malley, but value is on, you know what I mean? Eddie Wineland. That's all I'm saying.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, champ. But I'm saying what Clint is saying as far as UFC. UFC is smart at what they do. Dana White picks here and says, all right, well, this person, there's very, very, very few gyms that could be the Conor McGregor, the star power. And O'Malley is one of them people. Whether you either love him or you hate him, it doesn't matter as long as you know the name Sugar. And that's what UFC's thinking. And this is why I think they put him with Wineland. A lot of people respect Wineland, which I do. I think he's one of the better boxers ever in the 135-pound division. Really super fast hands, but people evolve. Fighters evolve. There's the old school, and then there's the new school. And Wineland's part of the old school. He comes in, hands down to his side. He doesn't have a high guard at all. Hands down by his side. He's going side to side, trying to throw bombs, throwing big, wide looping bombs, and he counts on his footwork and his speed to normally get him out of situations, and he doesn't have either on O'Malley in this. O'Malley's going to use that reach. I don't think he has better boxing. I think Wineland actually has better technical boxing, but all around striker, Sugar is way better. Way better kicks, way better grappler.
Way better kicks,
I can see him getting them against the cage, chain grappling, getting them down. He's an excellent grappler. Either way it happens, I see a finish. I don't know what round, but I think they put him with them for a reason. With Wineland's fighting style, with his hands real low, and he gets hit a lot, I think O'Malley's going to land that death blow and finish him at some point in time.
Mo, you might have convinced me though. I mean, that being said, it's minus 130 for O'Malley inside the distance. I didn't think they'd give us to us that low, if you want to know the truth, when he's basically a minus 500, and then by decision you can get O'Malley at plus 200. So if he's going to win that fight, like you guys think, then maybe there's a I can bet both those at a certain amount and win.
Wineland on the dog money, O'Malley inside the distance. What Nick is thinking. There we have it. That's the start of our main card. Wineland for Sugar Sean. Let's move on to the next bout, welterweight bout. 6'3" American Neil Magny, 22-8-0. Opens up a minus 138, quickly goes to minus 160. Going up against 6' American Anthony Rocco Martin, 17-5-0. Opens at plus 110, now at plus 130. Big Mo, why don't you take us into this fight, Magny Martin?
Hey, let me paint a picture for you. So this is what my first initial reaction was I was all over Neil Magny. I'm thinking Neil Magny's a stud again, you know what I'm saying? Then you just watch tape, and what is Neil Magny not good at taking is leg kicks. He's not good at checking leg kicks. Ponzi ate them legs up. Several fights. His kryptonite seems to be leg kicks. So Rocco Martin in turnaround is great at throwing leg kicks. Throws leg kicks all the time. Boom, boom, steady throwing them. I think Rocco Martin at 170, he's 4-1, 5-1, something like that. His only loss is to Damian Maia, and that was a fairly close encounter. I think a lot of people are going to be thinking that we're going to get the same exact Magny that we saw in the last fight. I just kind of think that
why wouldn't we? He just fought 3 weeks ago, not even.
But I don't think Ling was up to Ling. I don't think Jing Ling was the real Jing Ling. I think that he looked different, and he didn't come out and do normally what he does. You can make that face all you want to, bro. I watch tape. So
did I.
I just kind of
I know my man got about an 88-inch reach on Rocco Martin.
I think he's going to come out. I think he's going to smash that leg. I think he's going to he's going to smash that leg, that calf kick that everybody's doing. And I think he's going to immobilize Neil Magny and not allow Neil Magny to get in on the wrestling. Can Neil win? Yeah, he can definitely win. It's more of like a 50-50 fight for me. I'll have more of a definite answer by Friday. But as of right now, I see those leg kicks just like the Gutierrez fight. Nobody really knew how that was going, but how did that turn out? Somebody that can't check leg kicks against somebody that throws leg kicks a lot. Well, it went exactly like you would think it went. Gutierrez smashed those legs. Morales couldn't do nothing. By the time he tried to do something, he fell on the ground and it was too late. We're going right now. We're going to go. I don't know if he's going to finish Neil. I think he's going to hobble him. 29-28 decision, Rocco.
Oof. We have a dog alert. And, Nick, you don't agree with that look.
Listen, Magny doo-dooed in my my cherry, blueberry, and apple pie. Every pie you can name.
Mine too.
I had Jingling. I thought that was a clear path to victory. It was one of my strongest plays. Neil Magny showed up. The Neil Magny we saw in the past before that, I thought was fading, but I'm wrong. I mean, he has an 8-inch reach advantage. I'm not going to go over what I just said before, but that is a lot of inches. Okay,
he doesn't always use it well.
He uses it very well. When you mean, and what it also uses real well is putting people on the cage and taking them down. So it's a smaller cage as well. So leg kick wise, I mean, he does have skinny legs, Neil Magny. If you chop the tree down, you could find some success there. But this ain't no Chris Gutierrez game plan. Chris Gutierrez slammed those just like Morales did to Marias did to Henry Cejudo in the first fight in their fight. I mean, he slammed those for the first round. That's not what that's not his game plan. He's gonna sit there and try to box. How can you outkick somebody that's gonna be jabbing you from a distance like that? So I don't see that happen. I don't see those leg kicks landing. I see that jab landing for Neil Magny and busting that nose up of Rocco Martin. And I do see a clear path to victory for Neil Magny at -140. I somewhat feel that's a great number.
Nick, liking this Magny spot. Big Mo on the other side with Rocco Martin. Clint, can you break this deadlock?
Can I talk, Mo? I don't want to get shushed.
Hey, if I'm talking in paint,
yeah, no more shushing.
If you decide to peek through that door, you better be ready.
Okay, all right. I'll be careful. Thank you. So, Jimmy, what's going on in this fight? It seemed very, very close for me. Seemed very, very close for me. And then I watched a little tape. And I got to tell you, Jimmy, if I see something and my boy Mo sees something, you don't think the coaches at Team Elevation are going to see that same thing? Yes, my boy Magny in the past has struggled with leg kicks, Mo. But you know who he trains with? Justin the Highlight Gaethje. Maybe one of the best leg kickers in the game today, my friend. He has the right coaching around him. He has the right teammates. And we haven't seen him fight for 2 years. And watching that Jing Liang fight, the reason that Jing Liang didn't fight like himself is because Magny was boxing him up. I was on the leash. I thought the leech had a significant striking advantage in that fight. That was a three-peat call with my boys, and we were all wrong. And it wasn't because Jing Liang had an off night. It was because he was getting hurt. He had no other option but to get in there for the body lock and go for that takedown. I think Magny is a new man. I think he's a new beast. And exactly what Nick said, that 7-8 inch reach advantage, he'll be able to bop Rocco in the face, and Rocco won't be able to reach him with his legs. That's how extensive that advantage is going to be. I think Rocco's only path to victory here is to beat the legs up and get a submission. I don't see how he wins a decision, and I don't think he hits hard enough to knock Magny out. I think Magny's got every advantage in the book here. Jimmy, my man, this is a 2x play. I am going 2 times on Neil Magny. I got -150, and I laid 3 units to win 2.
Ooh.
Hey, so my first question, okay, so is this Neil Magny's first camp with this camp?
He's been with Elevation since he lost to Ponzinibbio, I want to say. So he's out there training with Drew Dober, Justin Gaethje. You've got the Demolition Man, Alistair Overeem, Curtis Blades. Elevation is one of the places to be right now, and he's looked like a monster since he went there.
But he still doesn't check leg kicks. So y'all can talk all that stuff. Y'all just talk.
You can check a leg kick if you're in range.
Gaethje all day. He can work with Gaethje all day. But if he's not checking leg kicks and Rocco Martin is throwing heavy leg kicks, that's going to be an issue because it showed it to be with Ponzi. Now, if all of a sudden there's some kind of different Neil that checks leg kicks and then shoots in and grapples, I mean, I was on Neil to begin with. Just the tape took me towards Rocco. So,
but those leg kicks he's not going to be in range for because he's going to get pop shot. You can't throw a leg kick without getting caught with a 1-2. And then if he's coming forward, you can't throw a leg kick coming forward because it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. So him to get in boxing range, he has to come forward. And that being said, that takes away the leg kicks
going forward. You throw a
Neil Magny outlands his opponent by almost 2 significant strikes a minute so far in his UFC career here, Mo.
Hey, y'all can
the other thing, you got a small cage.
Y'all wanted to take it.
We got a small cage, and this man lands 2.7 takedowns per 15-minute fight with a 47% accuracy. I don't think that leg kick is going to be an option because I think Magny's going to rough up Rocco against the fence. I think he's going to pin him up against the cage, and then when they're at distance.
So grappling, do you think? Which Neil Magny, he did fight Damian Maia, correct? Like he did, didn't he?
Let me go back and look. I know.
How do you think he would do grappling Damian Maia? He would get smoked. And
Rocco lost to Maia at 41 years old. Maia at 41.
That's an excellent BJJ practitioner.
And that was Magny all the way back in 2015. That was a different Damian Maia, my man.
Exactly. That's like the prime right there of him.
On top of that, Ponzinibbio is a different beast. Ponzinibbio
was Bryce Mitchell, Charles Rosa. Bam, 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 bam.
You got that one. You got that one. Good.
One last point for you, Mo. One last point for you. Ponzinibbio is a much better fighter than Rocco is. He's far more dangerous. And it took him into round 4 to get that TKO after beating up Magny's legs. Rocco's only got 3, buddy. I think Magny's going to be able to withstand the leg kicks long enough to get his way to a decision.
Hey, well, y'all got my mind going. Friday, I'll have a final decision. All
right.
I hope you guys watch together because the first fight on the card.
We're going
hard. And Clint are on other sides. And Clint's whole parlay has to get off rolling right there. And then we have Clint's, at this point through our breakdowns, we are 10 fights into the breakdowns, and that's his biggest play is on Magny, and it looks like Big Mo going on Anthony Rocco Martin. Let's move on to a bantamweight bout. 5'7" American Aljamain Funkmaster Sterling, 18-3-0, opens up at a pick'em, and money comes in on the Funkmaster. Just 5'7", the Funkmaster, going up against 5'11" American Corey Sandhagan, 12-1-0. Opens at a pick'em, now a plus 100 dog. Clint, what do you think here? Do you agree with the money coming in on the much smaller Funkmaster?
I don't, Jimmy. I don't agree with it at all. And that's only because there's 2 fights on this card that I want nothing to do with from a betting perspective. The first one was Heinz versus GM3, and the second one is this one. I want nothing to do with this fight from a betting perspective. Get yourself a bowl of popcorn, pour a couple shots of Fireball, sit your ass on that couch, and enjoy the show. I don't know how anybody can be confident picking this fight, Jimmy. These 2 fighters are yin and yang. They are similar opposites. And it's going to be a striker versus grappler where both man is able to dip their toe in the other one's house. They are solid everywhere. These are both phenomenal fighters. Aljo Sterling is going to have a slight advantage on the mat, and I think that Sandhagan is going to have a slight advantage on the feet, and I think they're going to scramble all over the place, and it's just a matter of who is going to be able to impose their will, and I could not tell you which one it's going to be at this point in time. I think we're seeing the birth of a rivalry here, Jimmy. I think these guys are going to fight 2 or 3 times throughout their career. One of them may even capture the belt, and the rematch will be for the title in a couple of years. They're both incredible fighters, and I have no clue who's going to win this thing.
Boston Nick, what do you think of this spot? Funkmaster taking money.
I feel like he copied my notes. This is like sit back, enjoy. This might be the most intriguing matchup on the card, like literally on the card. The winner of this fight might get a shot at the title next. You know
Number one contender fight for sure.
You know what I mean? I mean, right now, we got Aljo has rallied 4 straight in a row, wins, and I think Munoz, Rivera, Stamen, and Brett Johns we're not going to write home about, but believe it or not, the smaller guy by 4 inches in height is Aljo, but he's got him up, by 1.5 inches reach, which is weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you said, yin and yang. They're both. It's 100%. Sandhagan is a little bit better of a striker. 100% Aljo is a little bit better in the jiu-jitsu area. So it's like, well, who do you pick? You don't. You sit back. You enjoy MMA for once. Don't gamble on it. Maybe bet a prop. I'll look into it. Maybe I'll have one for Friday. But this is one that you just want to sit down and say, who's going to be the next contender for the belt?
The advantage that we have as bettors, Jimmy, is we don't have to bet every single fight.
Yeah.
Save your money. There are better spots out there.
Don't gamble on it, Big Mo.
I might put $10 on something, but you know what I mean?
You find an angle, Big Mo.
Very, very rare, Jimmy. Very rare. Well, I agree with these gaboons over here. But, this is one that it's if there is a hard fight to pick, it's this one. This might be one of the harder picks that I've ever had the pressure put on me that I have to pick one side or another. Just if you're picking a side, because you have Sandhagan, better striker, but poor takedown defense, 30-something% takedown defense, and the reason is he has good get-ups. He is really good at just exploding up. Then you have Aljo, not as good striking, but a tad bit better grappler. So then you look back and how I kind of see it going through my mind, if this was more of a 5-round fight, man, this is such a good fight. This could be like the fight for the interim 135-pound title. I mean, this is a banger of a fight. And I think I don't remember which one of the guys said it, but this could be a rivalry going, see these guys fight, a trilogy, because both these guys are going to have shots at titles. Whoever wins this fight is going to go up, but the other ones are going to stay within the top 5, and they're going to keep rolling.
And they're young.
Yeah, they're going to see each other.
If this was a 5-round fight, I would be more likely to be on Sandhagan. But with the 3 rounds, I don't really see either of them finishing each other. But I can see Aljo's grappling winning 2 of the 3 rounds. Slightly. Maybe he ends up on top at the end of 2 rounds. The judges are morons anyway. Something like that. But as far, as being confident, you can't be confident on this. This is a banger of a fight.
What do you think? Minus 170 for a fight to go the distance in a parlay.
Minus 170 on fight to go the distance. Mo, are you surprised that money's coming in on Sterling?
No, because Sterling's good, man. Sterling's the one that got that exotic submission I was talking about earlier. He has a good camp, very good grappler, very strong, very explosive, good leg kicks. Kind of reminds me of like a little John Jones. Not as good, not as explosive as technical, but and it's not just because he's a black guy, it's because he's an athletic, long, lanky, good subs, pretty good everywhere. But then you have Sandhagan, I've kind of been which I'm kind of in a position here, because with Sandhagan, I've told myself I'm not going to go against Sandhagan until somebody proves me wrong. You know what I mean? And he's looked great. But with Aljo last time, I think it was Pedro that he fought last? Oh, Mr. Munoz or something like that. Yeah, whoever it was, he very much impressed me. And I was like, man, it's going to be hard to go against Aljo. So then you put those 2 powers combined, and you're like, oh, shit, you got to pick one. So maybe by Friday I'll have more of a feel for it or whatever. But right now I'm going to say Aljo's going to be able to sneak 2 of those 3 rounds, maybe catch a decision. But I don't know, man.
That is the first of – so we've broken out 11 fights, and that's the first fight in a lot. As far as I remember, where you guys were all hesitant to pull the trigger quite like that. Let's move on to a bantamweight bout. 5'5" Brazilian Rafael Assuncao, 27-7-0, opening at plus 125, staying there. Going up against 5'8" American Cody No Love Garbrandt, 11-3-0. Your minus 150 favorite, Boston Nick. No Love Garbrandt. You got love for him?
Listen, I got no love for Cody Garbrandt. I'm sorry. Listen, the last 4 years, he has fought 4 times. Yeah, he did take the belt from Cruz. After that, losing 2 straight to TJ Dillashaw. And then Pedro Munoz, as you just mentioned. That being said, I mean, listen, he's got crazy power still. We all know that. But one thing he doesn't have is a chin anymore. One thing Assuncao does have is a chin. He has not been knocked out since 2011 in his first UFC debut. So what I see here is Assuncao taking it to Cody. I don't see Cody taking out Assuncao. Maybe a submission, maybe inside the distance. But I like the dog. I'm going to take him straight. And I get that at what, Jimmy?
Plus 125.
Book it.
Woo. We have a dog alert. Let's go right to Clint, who loves these dogs. And this isn't a big dog, but it is a dog. It does classify as dog material. Clint, you agree with the dog look?
Jimmy, the wrong man is favored in this fight. This line should be flipped, my friend. There is one man in this fight who has been proven at the top end of the division, and it's not the guy that got the belt. If you remember, a couple weeks ago, when we broke down Henry Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz, I told you that Cody's performance against Dominic Cruz was something spectacular. It was one of the most insane moments in the UFC that we have ever seen. He outmoved the man who outmoves everybody. And I told you I didn't believe that performance because I don't think Cody's that good. I think Dominic had faded.
Yep.
Cody has never been tested in the UFC. He fought Augusto Mendez, Thomas Almeida, Takeya Mizugaki, and then he got a broken Dominic Cruz. After that, he had to fight a true champion caliber fighter in TJ Dillashaw, and he got knocked out back to back. He showed his horrible fight IQ against Pedro Munoz and his lack of a chin and got KO'd for a 3rd time in a row. I think that Cody's chin is gone, Jimmy. I think that he's done irreparable damage to his body. I don't think he can take a shot anymore. And he's proven to me that he is too hot-headed to intelligently fight anybody. If you ding him, if you clip him, he brawls.
He goes to war.
That's his only instinct. He goes straight to war. And you want to know something funny about this fight, Jimmy? Watching the UFC Countdown show, you can see that Cody's been working real hard on that ground game in the offseason. He thinks he can come out here and protect that chin by taking down Assuncao. And that's a recipe for disaster, my friend. Assuncao is a monster on the ground. He's a very technical striker. He's very capable defensively, and he hits freaking hard. He is not known for his knockouts, but trust me, he lands bombs. If you watch the Marlon Moraes fight, even though he ended up losing that one, he rocked him with a shot that Cody would not be able to survive. He's extremely dangerous on the mat. He's very risk adverse. So when Cody gets hurt and he's ready to brawl, Assuncao is going to pick his shots. Assuncao has gone with multiple champion level fighters. He's fought TJ Dillashaw twice and gone 1-1 with him. He's fought Marlon Moraes twice and he's gone 1-1 with him. He bounced back from the loss to Marlon against Cody Sandhagan, a guy that we just talked about, who's champion caliber material, and he took him to the judges. He didn't give an inch against a kid who has a ton of youth and size advantage on him, and he was in that fight. He had moments. This is a buy low spot on Assuncao, Jimmy, just like the reason I'm taking Formiga. It's a buy low spot on a championship caliber fighter against a hype train that for some reason is still laying chalk. I'm not buying in. I'm on Assuncao, and I'm going to sprinkle that knockout line when it comes out.
Ooh, shit. We have Nick and Clint on the dog here. Big Mo, what do you think? Do you agree?
I know, Jimmy, the people at home right now, they're sitting back and they're going, what's Mo going to say? This bitch is wild. And trust me, guys, if I could go against these two people over here, I would.
Gaboons? Is that what we're called? The gaboons?
A couple gaboons over here. I would 100% go against these
and Italian
gaboons, but I'm not a Garbrandt fan at all. I'm not. He's chinny. I think it was just like my homies over here said. It was all Mr. Cruz was on the down, and it just so happened that Garbrandt had the best night of his life. He's not going to be able to do that against a very, very, very intelligent fighter, just like Clint said, picks his shots. I mean, there's not really a whole much more I can add to what my two guys over here, my couple gaboons over here done said. So
I'm going to make T-shirts. Gaboon.
Hey, that's it. Put it on the press. But, yeah, no, there's not much more to say. I think that you gotta look at Garbrandt's heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, mentally, I think mentally he's broke, on top of, just like Clint said, which I haven't watched it yet, so that makes me even more on it, that he's like drilling his jiu-jitsu and grappling. Like, bro, you're not going to put up 20 years in a span of 8 weeks. So
his hands are best then, and he's
he has to stick to his hands and cut angles.
Makes no
but
sense.
I don't see him doing it. I see him at some point in time. He might maybe start that, come out and, try to cut angles, throwing big bombs, stuff like that. But Assuncao just going to have a high guard. He's going to take what he has, and he's going to let him come back, just like he's been out for a couple years. You know what I'm saying? He's going to come back, and Assuncao is going to do what Assuncao does. I wouldn't be shocked to see an Assuncao knocking out Garbrandt, even though Assuncao's the grappler in this situation. So I'm going to go with Assuncao, probably by decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if he knocked him out. But that also could be that I just don't like Garbrandt at all. I just don't like him. I just don't like his fighting style, how he is. So that could be blinding me a little bit, but I don't really think it is, especially with these guys over here saying it. They kind of – everything that they were saying, I was already thinking in my head that was going to be my argument. So
the chin is the first to go. Powers is the last, and he has no chin.
Yeah, no.
Wow, that's that argument on Assuncao at plus 125 is very, very appealing. From watching your breakdowns of all the fights, the Assuncao is probably the most appealing look out of. Now that's the 12th fight that we've broken down. I also felt that the Heinisch Mearshart to go to a decision sounded quite appealing. And then the way you guys agreed with this move to minus 170 on Charles Byrd, those have been the three things that really jumped out at me. Watching Formiga go from 110 to 125 is the only reason why I have a bit of hesitance putting it into that group. But the Assuncao plus 125 is very, very appealing. There you have it, bantamweight bout. Assuncao Garbrandt, no love, getting no love here. It is now main event time. Odds.com bringing you the best MMA analysts on the scene, and it is main event time. We got Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA Podcast, Big Mo from Mo Screen TV, and my man Boston Nick, aka Mr. Fat Fist, and it is main event time. Women's featherweight title bout. The champion, 5'8" Brazilian Amanda the Lioness Nunes, 19-4-0, giant favorite. Opens up at Bet365 at minus 700. We talked about Sugar Sean O'Malley opening up at minus 400, going to minus 500 right now. We are Tuesday, June 2nd. This fight pops off on Saturday, June 6th. Minus 700 Nunes opens up at, and it's come down a bit. It's now a minus 600.
Oh,
Money coming in a tiny bit on the Phenom, 5'6" Canadian, Felicia Spencer, 8-1-0, opening at plus 500, now plus 450. Let's go to Big Mo to get this main event popping off. Do you agree with Nunes being this big of a favorite?
I mean, that big of a favorite, I mean, stuff happens. So you kind of got to watch for that. What I'm curious about, Jimmy, is she's not in Clintus's parlay. So I'm anxious to see why she's not plugged into there. Because if you're going to play this, you're going to play it in a parlay. You're not going to play it straight up. So anxious to hear that. I'm going to have my popcorn ready. But Felicia, she's not a complete bum, but the reason why she's getting this fight is because there's nobody else to fight at 145. She has no hands as far as boxing. She likes to come in and throw some shots just to throw stuff in their face, throw a kick up. She has decent kicks. She's a black belt in Taekwondo, so she has pretty decent kicks, but she's looking to throw something and then to clinch and grapple with. And if she can get you on the ground, she has heavy ground and pound, good chokes, good top pressure. But Jimmy, we're talking about the female GOAT here. We got Nunes, way more experience, way better boxing, way more power, better jiu-jitsu. The wrestling is up in the air. I think that the only way – well, I don't want to say only way. Felicia has a path. She could clinch her against the cage, try to, Nunes has been shown to gas out. She was gassing out some against GDR. Totally different style fight, though. But I think it's hard to go against Nunes. I could see her at some point in the fight, maybe third round, fourth round, landing that straight right down the middle because Felicia's going to be ducking her head and trying to close the gap. Because she wants to grapple, she wants to clinch. So what do? You have to close the gap. So you got to come forward. And I could see Nunes game planning for that, setting her boxing up, counter shot straight down the middle, third, fourth round, something like that. Nunes.
Yeah.
Do you think that Nunes is going to find a way on your card on Saturday?
Oh no, we'll see. We'll see what them numbers are looking like for maybe like an inside the distance, something like that. Because I think there is a chance. There is a chance for Felicia. People are super sleeping on Felicia. You got to think. Did Cyborg finish her or did she go to a decision?
She
decision. Win all three.
Yeah.
It was only three.
So, I mean, she can take a licking and keep on ticking. You know what I'm saying? So. That sounded bad too, but my bad about that, guys. I'm full of it. We're going inside and ticking and licking, but yeah, no.
You didn't apologize for that Taylor Swift one earlier, man. You owe us an apology for that.
Hey, I ain't apologizing for no T-Swift, dog. Hey, yeah, no T-Swift.
I love Taylor. Don't you say
T-Swift right. Whole life, son.
You know what's wrong with Taylor Swift? She's short.
The Lioness Nunes.
Shit, Clint.
Giant favorite here in the main event. Women's featherweight title bout. Boston Nick, is there an angle with this fight?
I mean, I really think Nunes is going to motor through.
Get a
motor through.
Shit,
you know what I meant? Motor through Spencer. And I do like her inside the distance. You can get that at -175. Apologies, you know what I meant. Listen. Yeah, it was a 3-round fight with Cyborg. I do think Cyborg would eventually have gotten either. Maybe not, but Cyborg is an aging veteran that is now with the WWE and fighting over at Bellator, right? She's doing a little bit of WWE work as well. But right now, for me, this is easy decision. This is Nunes all day. I wouldn't put her in a parlay. I would actually parlay the inside the distance at -175, -180. And with something else, I'm trying to see what it is it's going to be. But I definitely know Nunes is going to beat Felicia Spencer. There's no doubt about it.
Nick, heavy on Nunes. Big Mo believes
she should be a -1,000. Let's put it that way.
Should be a -1,000.
Yep.
Clint, does this Canadian have a chance here? And answer the question. For Big Mo, why you're not including Nunes on your parlay?
Yes. The Canadian does have a chance here, Jimmy.
I told you.
Why?
I told you.
That's why she's not in my parlay. However, I'm not betting her because you do not bet against the GOAT, Amanda Nunes. But I got an angle for you, Jimmy. Don't you worry. It's the main event. I got a little something up my sleeve.
Over 1.5, I know it.
So the over 1.5 is sitting at minus 190. Fellas, pump your brakes. We need an alternate line. We're going to wait for that over 2.5 to come out. You're going to get even or plus money on the over 2.5, and that is the look, my friends. So I am fearful that Felicia Spencer may be the one to upset Amanda Nunes simply because this girl has the most durability I think I've ever seen. She got landed with over 100 significant strikes in that Cyborg fight, Jimmy. Nobody withstands that kind of punishment. And she walked through everything Cyborg had, pinned her up against the fence, and tried to drag her to the mat. Cyborg and Felicia Spencer have something in common. They're natural 145-pound women. They couldn't make 135 pounds unless they chopped the leg off. Amanda Nunes is a 135-pound fighter. She's incredible enough that she was able to step up 10 pounds and take the belt up there, but she is not natural to that division, Jimmy.
Felicia is not either.
She's going to have a strength and a size advantage here. She's not going to be taller. She doesn't have the reach advantage, but my girl thick. And she's going to be able to drag
with 2 C's, bro,
to the mat if she gets her up against that fence. So here's my angle. I agree with Mo. I do think that eventually Amanda Nunes is going to clip her and put her down because she always does. But I think it's going to be in the 4th or the 5th round. And I don't know that this fight doesn't go to decision, Jimmy, because even though we are all so familiar with Amanda Nunes being the knockout artist that she is, she went to decision with Valentina Shevchenko twice.
She should have.
She also went to the decision, a 5-round decision, with Jermaine Durandamy, and a fight a lot of people forget about. She went to the 5th round with Raquel Pennington. If you come in with a grapple-heavy game plan, Amanda Nunes knows that that is the hole in her game. She's a phenomenal striker. She's excellent in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but she struggles in the wrestling department, and she struggles with her gas tank deep in the fight. So she's not going to come out looking for a war like she did against Cyborg. She's not going to come out looking to take Spencer's head off in the very first round. She's going to come out measured. She's aware of that takedown threat. She's not going to want to overextend herself and end up on her back. Because of that, it's going to allow Felicia Spencer to stay in this fight longer. And if this thing gets late in the fight, she's going to have to turn it up so it doesn't go to the judges' scorecards. I do think we see Amanda Nunes win this fight, but I'm a little spooked by Felicia Spencer. I think this fight makes it to the 4th round, and if we can get over 2.5 at plus money, Jimmy, I'm going to be all over it.
Well, I can tell you what you get it at. I can tell you what you get it at right now. And it seems like a really fun way to bet this main event 250. So I bet 365 over 1.5 is minus 150.
Over 1.5 is minus 150?
Yeah. Over 2.5 is plus 125. Over 3.5 is plus 200. Over 4.5 plus 250. Going to go the distance plus 275. And it'd be a fun look, you know, to put some money on all of those. And
I like the over 1.5, and that's only the smaller cage. I honestly think that Nunes is going to be able to is going to pounce on her, put her back against the cage, and unload on her. I did not see this going.
Spencer, don't go backwards, son.
Yeah, bro.
That's you think she's listen. If you think she's a real 145er, the only reason, like you said, thick, she could, if she like she is, she's going to make 135 easy, right? It's a 135 fight, correct?
But if anybody's pressing anybody,
Nick.
Is that 145?
It's the bigger weight class. This is for the 145 pound.
You have Nunes not having to cut weight. She's knocking Felicia Spencer out.
You could also add in Nunes in round 3 at plus 800.
Really?
Nunes in round 4 at plus 1200.
Oh,
Nunes in round 5 at plus 2,000.
You beat me to it, Jimmy. I was planning on
take it.
sprinkling those round props on Amanda Nunes. Go small for the big reward because those lines are wild. Everyone in the world thinks this fight is ending in round 1. Your boy thinks it's going to go late, maybe even eke its way to the cards. I think getting a little plus money on that over 2.5 is the way to go.
What a wildly entertaining situation it would be to, put $100 on the over 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5 fight to go the distance. Put $100 on Nunes round 3, round 4, round 5. It would just a very exciting way of.
Imagine Nunes knocks out in round 4 and you get what plus 1,200, 1,400, and then you cash that over 2.5 as well.
And 1.5, you know what I mean? Nunes is not losing this fight to begin with, so Felicia's not going to get her out early. It's going to be Nunes, if anything. So
I'm relying on the durability of Felicia Spencer.
You know what I mean? So that's a good look then. And over 1.5, over 2.5, knockout Nunes 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
It's a fun way of betting the fight. Many years ago, 17 or 18 years ago, I went to Vegas. I was in LA at the time. I went to Vegas for the Tyson versus the prison champ, the Clifford Etienne, the Black Rhino.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I was with a couple of buddies, and we're like, you know what? Let's go to Vegas. What happens if Tyson freaks out and bites his face? We're gonna get 8-1 on the prison champ. Let's put some money together, and who knows what Tyson's gonna do. And I couldn't imagine being more excited about the situation, the fight being in Vegas, and Tyson knocked him out in about 40 seconds.
Yep. Clifford Antonine, I think it was Antonine.
Yeah, about 45 seconds. That fight was over. But I think this look might be a little better than that. I love that. I think that breakdown is very, very cool. Very, very, very interesting idea. There's a lot of looks that you guys have broken down that I find very interesting, but that would be a really fun way of betting this title bout. Mm-hmm. Now, being a Canadian, it also adds a little bit of fun to see how long the Canadian can last. And then you're at a point where, if you get to round 4, you want her to get knocked.
Right. Yeah, right.
Because you're going to get rich.
Right.
That's a fun way of doing it. All right, you guys, main card, best bet time. Main card, best bet time. Let's go with Big Mo. 5 fights on this main card. Wineland, Sugar Sean, Magny, Rocco Martin, Funkmaster Sterling, Sandhagan, Assuncao, Garbrandt, Nunes, Spencer. Big Mo, what's your best look on this main card?
I think there's a couple ones you can pretty much lock in, and that's Sugar Sean, Mr. Assuncao, and Miss Amanda Nunes. You can have your pick.
You only get one.
Do what?
You only get one.
One. Let's see. My probably Sugar Sean. I think he's gonna KO Mr. Eddie just from how his fighting style. So best play Sugar Sean.
And you would take Sugar Sean by knockout?
Yeah, I'd probably have him inside the distance. What are those?
It's not up yet.
Okay, yeah, no, it's not a big deal. Yeah, I'd probably take him inside the distance.
Sugar Sean inside the distance. Boston Nick, best look on UFC 250.
Plus 125. Rafael Assuncao.
Assuncao at plus 125. The argument you guys had on Assuncao was it's very appealing. Very, very appealing.
No
Clint,
love.
my man, best look on the main card of UFC 250.
I got to go with my biggest bet of the night, Jimmy. Neil Magny. Neil Magny 2.0 is the best bet on the main card.
Ooh. Get in quick because we're Tuesday, and he's already gone from minus 138 to minus 160. That was a lot of fun, and I loved your guys' breakdown of Nunes Spencer. That's going to be a very enjoyable Saturday night in Las Vegas. Man, June 6th, all pops off. The Apex in Las Vegas. Big thank you to our MMA analysts. Thank you guys for doing such a great job. Big shout out and thank you to Big Mo from Mo Scream TV. Good looking out. Boston Nick, a.k.a. Mr. Fat Fist. Love it. Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA Podcast. Great stuff, you guys. Really, really, really enjoyed that. Subscribe to our YouTube page. You're watching it right now. So hit the subscribe button, Odds HQ, and hit that bell. Hit them both for us and follow us on Twitter, Odds110. On behalf of all the boys here and everybody at odds.com, get paid on Saturday night. That is the main thing that we want.
Get it.
Cash. Get that cash. Good luck. And it's in your hands now. It's in your hands now. I like taking overs on this featherweight title bout. It sounds like a real fun way to watch it. Get that cash on Saturday.
Let's do it. Maybe we can have you on late Saturday night for the main event. Maybe we can have you on if you have some time. We'll see. We'll talk about it.
Hammering horses all day long.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I'll be like 12 hours deep. But no, I'd love that. Because it's going to be a big night in Vegas this Saturday. Get that cash.